Southern California, yeah.
Born and raised our DNA. Laugh and cry to what we say. We hit you with that wordplay.
4053.
What episode are we on? D, they feeling like they be zombies, all dressed in Abercrombie.
SoCal DNA coming in live. 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. COVID got you sitting inside. Why not sip one and free your mind?
Cheap thrills, popping pills, stack cash, spend it fast.
Listen to all of Don's lives as Arjun act like he's surprised.
This is the DNA Podcast, episode something. Good evening, Arjun.
Good evening. Should we continue the whole podcast speaking like this?
I think so.
All right, let's try to keep it on as long as possible. So as
First
the
one
D
alive
said,
loses.
very good. As the D said, welcome to the SoCal DNA Podcast. And as far as the episode number, I'm surprised that the D doesn't remember. The D should remember, but I excuse him because the D is sipping on something special today. D, why don't you go ahead and explain what the spotlight sip of the week is for the SoCal DNA?
Absolutely. Let me put my pinky down for total concentration here.
Please do.
Today, we are drinking Conditions, a pale ale by none other than Arrow Lodge Brewing. Brief description, if I may. Pale ale brewed with bird prick tea and pineapple dreams. Amazing. Worth a stellar double D 0.69.
Double D.69, that is quite something. By the way, since we are on this
Oh, you're going back to
Discord,
normal? Is that what you're doing?
I didn't know if I was. I thought I was on the fence. I thought I could ride the fence for a while, but I was gonna say, is your noise suppression off for Discord? Because as you were going through your whole soliloquy about this beer, I could only hear about half the words you were saying.
Oh, perfect. That was the fanciness coming out.
That was intention.
Yeah. Well, I think
Very
maybe
good.
it wasn't the noise suppression. I don't know what's going on.
No, it might be better now.
Oh, yeah, hey, just ping me. You sound awful. Turn your noise suppression off.
I did. Because I was trying to be subtle about it, but I realized
Well, it's
you're
showing
probably
on the
broadcasting that screen to everybody anyway. So this is how I talk to the D, by the way, in case people were wondering how our real,
my God.
friendship is off camera.
Jesus.
It's a lot of this. It's a lot of me just berating him to
It
death.
basically
and him
is. It basically
tolerating.
is.
Taking
I understand your anger, man. I mean, have you
of course.
seen the freaking standings right now for the Western
I
Conference?
know. I've been trying to avoid it, but I think we must get into it.
Hold on.
So
Pinky back up really quick. Pinky back up.
go ahead, pinky back up. Go ahead and take another sip of
Yeah.
your.
Oh, but
concoction.
really, it's called Conditions. It's a really good freaking pale ale. It's one of my favorites that they brew. Super light. It's like, but enough where it's not necessarily like you drinking it out in the sun, but you drink a couple of these and you don't get that heavy feeling of drinking too much beer. Really solid beer.
Good.
All right,
I like it.
I got it in front of me. I'm feeling really good right now.
Fantastic.
Go ahead,
And
man.
you know who's not feeling good right now at all? It is none other than my guy, Lonzo Ball. And why, you may ask? You may think he doesn't even deserve to feel good. You probably think he's a bum. And quite honestly, ladies and gentlemen, although I am a Lonzo Ball apologist, I have to say, ever since the NBA came back, he has been nothing but a bum. It is just one awful game after another. As a matter of fact, I recall sending Don a picture, basically Lonzo's game log, just looking at the points over the course of the last 2 weeks, and it was absolutely atrocious. It was so bad.
Understatement.
Understatement is right. I'll just kind of read it off. It was 5 points, 2 points, 9 points, 7, 7, 4. Just abysmal shooting. He only shot above 50% for one game. Horrible from the three. Lots of turnovers. And I was telling Don this before, but it almost seems like as soon as he got back, he took 2 years off of his game. It's like he regressed 2 years to Laker year one and just really stinking up the court again. And Don made this incredible joke. What did you say? What did you say in
I would
response
say,
to my
yeah.
2 year?
He should have gone 3-4 to be good again.
Oof, that hurt. That, ladies and gentlemen, that
Yeah,
one
because
hit
you know
right
it
there.
makes sense. Because you're like, fuck, that was when he was like a legit number 2 pick.
Was he? Was he ever?
He was
though?
even a
I mean,
legit number 1, 2, 3. I would say.
you know, here's the thing, though. I think so much of it was hype.
Of course, but he was out of the Division 1, D1 schools. He was the legit number 1 point guard to pick out of the whole class. Fultz was not, what do you call it, D1.
He wasn't D1, sure.
So,
but you look at Darren Fox, right?
yeah, but in retrospect, yeah, you could say that. But then at the time, De'Aaron Fox was just quick. He had the speed. Lonzo Ball had like that pure point guard mentality. True point guard mentality.
Which is
a rarity.
And
a rarity in today's NBA.
It's a rarity. It absolutely is. You're
Especially
right.
at his size.
Yeah, at about 6'6", 6'7", it is something to behold for sure. And with Magic Johnson at the time,
Of course.
running the Lakers, he was definitely going for a point guard if it was available. And you know, I think LeVar sold him so well. LeVar was so confident in his boy, and it rubbed off not only on Magic but also on the media. I remember the media was enamored by LeVar Ball. Like, they could not get enough of his sound bites. You recall, he used to go on First Take. He used to go on Undisputed with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. He was doing the media rounds. Not Lonzo. Half the time he was with Lonzo, but usually it was just LeVar Ball by himself. And now that we're kind of about, 3-4 years into Lonzo's career, we more or less know what he is. We know what we have in front of us. And his ceiling is far lower than what I projected. I have no qualms about saying that. It's simply the truth. Alonzo will never be an all-star. I hate to admit that.
Whoa.
But that is how I feel.
Really?
That is
You're saying
honestly
that
how
so
I feel.
quickly?
I don't think it's so
else?
quick.
I mean,
don't think
all right,
it's so
what
quick.
other point guards in the new generation are up there?
Honestly, the name that I just mentioned, Darren Fox, is a better player than Lonzo Ball.
One.
So, but let's stop right there, because think about it this way. Do you think Darren Fox will ever be an all-star?
Yeah. Well, they're going to
You know
have
what I
to
mean?
put a couple point guards in there.
Look, there's always an abundance of point guards in the NBA.
You know what's super interesting?
What?
Because of the way that teams are set up, Colin Sexton might become an all-star before Lonzo Ball does.
Because he's in the East?
Because he's in the East and he's playing for Cleveland, and he racks up numbers. Because if they go strictly by those stats, right? Because I mean, did you really think? Well, whatever. That hurts me, man. That you're saying that. Serious, because he.
Yeah.
As much shit as I talk about Lonzo, you're giving up on him too quick. I think he has yet to reach his final form.
No, listen. Okay, perfect sell. Okay, perfect sell. I hear you. But no, it's like this though. I never said I'm giving up on him. I've just finally come to the realization that he will never be what I one day hoped he could become. Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I don't necessarily need that out of Lonzo. It would be nice. It'd be really cool to see that. But if he ends up being a, somewhat consistent,
sure,
6-man type player, right? Like starter / 6-man, and he has his highlights here and there, those lob passes, and he's known for certain things on the court, right? If he has his signature moves, signature passes, that's enough for me. I think I should look at Lonzo from that perspective. Not an all-star, not a champion, not any kind of award winner.
Got it.
But
that's interesting. Yeah,
an overall good player, overall decent player.
Okay. And I mean, I was just thinking about it. The real point guards that would be brought forward in the future of the NBA, at least for what we can foresee, is that of like the Ben Simmons type, who's unfortunately hurt now, but that point forward aspect. Like a Luka is considered a point guard sometimes. LeBron's considered a point guard, so there really isn't a need for true point guards anymore. given how.
This brings up an interesting point. Like, if we specifically talk about all-star format, as you know, they changed it somewhat recently from GGFFC to GGFFF.
Yeah.
They took away the C position, and it's kind of a testament to how few true centers there are in the NBA today. But I wonder what this means for the point guards you mentioned, like a Ben Simmons and a Luka Doncic. Technically, yes, they do play point guard on their teams, but they're kind of forwards, right? They match up with forwards. So would they fall into the guard category, or will they be a forward for All-Star?
It's it's one of those during fantasy season. My favorite type of player, where they hit three criteria, right? It's like point guard, shooting guard, small forward. You know.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Giannis was like that for sure. I think Giannis was.
Well, Giannis is 1 through 5, dude. They just put like wherever you want him. You know.
Giannis's setting is just utility.
Yeah, no, right? I mean?
Just like the rainbow, everything. So now dipping back to the actual play-in tournament that's about to happen.
Oh, all right. Let me pinky up again. Pinky up. Both pinkies up.
Sure, and while Don sips on his brew, I'll kind of summarize for the fans here. It hasn't been looking great for the Pelicans, and that's probably part of the reason why I've been talking smack about Lonzo, because I'm kind of frustrated by his lack of performance on the court. Pelicans are pretty much out of it at this point. Yep. They are down to the 13th seed, 22 and a half games behind the Lakers. Yep. And from the 9th seed, they're 2.5 games, but there's simply not enough games left for them to catch up.
One more game. That's
one more game. And so effectively right now, it is a very heated competition for 9th seed between the Grizzlies, Suns, and Spurs. Surprisingly, the Suns are the hottest team, no pun intended, in the bubble. They have won all of their games in the bubble, which is just astounding to me. Like, I don't think Don or myself could have ever predicted that, you know? And they beat some good teams. They beat the Clippers, right? They beat some others. I haven't been watching the game, so I don't know for sure. But they definitely got some good wins. And they may be on the cusp of making the playoffs for the first time in years, probably since Steve Nash was with the team. So it is definitely something to behold.
Just looking at it, what happens if the Grizzlies and Suns end up tying?
So I think there is a tiebreaker that's already stated. Like
for the 9th and 10th.
Yeah.
Like who gets 9 if like 9 and 10 have equal records?
I think there's some kind of a tiebreaker. I remember reading about it before. It may be wins. Like the record against each other.
Or record in the bubble, maybe?
Maybe. I'm not exactly sure what they decided to go with. But trust me, there is a way, because it is a real possibility, right? We may be looking at a 2-way or even 3-way tie. Yeah. So my guess would be this, and credit goes where credit needs to be due, right? I think Don made an excellent pick going with the Trailblazers. It looks like Damian Lillard is a man on a mission. I think he dropped a career high 60 plus the other day. Mr. 2K, that's right.
Scraping
but let everybody know, Mr. Current Gen 2K. I just have to say that.
He's scraping by, dude. He's just trying to hit the 8th seed, man.
I know.
He'll take anything. He'll take anything at this point.
Yeah, he's not asking for much. I understand that. So yeah, Blazers have been playing phenomenally well. No Trevor Ariza, no problem. They have Carmelo Anthony, who's looking great. CJ McCollum, Nurkic has been looking great too. Whiteside has been, relegated to the bench. Participating. Yeah, participating's right. He'll get a trophy regardless for effort. Blazers are looking like the team to beat for that 8th spot. Grizzlies are probably the most disappointing outside of the Pelicans. Grizzlies lost the last 2. I'm not really sure if they can win any more. I don't know how many games they have left, maybe 1 or 2.
They have one more, and it's against the Bucks, so I'm not feeling too comfortable about that.
But you know how it is, man. The Spurs recently played the Jazz, where the Jazz rested all of their key players. So down the stretch here, especially for a team like the Bucks, and keep in mind, and you may like this, you may get excited, Giannis recently headbutted one of the players from the Wizards. I think it was the former Laker, Mo Wagner. Because of that, he's been suspended for the next game.
Little concussion protocol, maybe. Oh, he headbutted. Was it?
Yeah, he headbutted Mo Wagner. Yeah. So,
right.
it was a flagrant move, obviously. And so because of that...
Yeah, but even without Giannis, they still have an all-star in Middleton, who I think has earned that title, more or less. They got the Lopez brothers, right? You got Sideshow Bob and Brooke going on.
I like how Brooke's the normal one because his haircut's normal. I like that. But no, I mean, you can talk about the Bucks, and I'll let you talk about the Bucks because I like them. They're actually one of my favorite teams in the East.
Think so. Well, I think they're gonna make it out of the East. Toronto,
dude.
Who do you think?
Well, it depends on Ben Simmons. I actually before the season started, I had the Philadelphia 76ers coming out of the East.
Mm-hmm.
But now, if Ben Simmons is going to be out for the rest of the playoffs, then I can't count him in. I have to go with either. It's hard to say. I don't count out the Celtics either, man.
Well, is Embiid hurt still, or did he play? Oh, he played.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, he
I
played
think
a little bit today.
Okay, we should probably take a look at the active roster for these teams because I'm kind of going off of pre-bubble. Right? I'm just kind of thinking.
No, before you look up the roster, can you tell me who is on the 76ers roster?
Yeah, you have Matisse Thybulle, you have Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, you have Josh Richardson, who they got from the trade.
Okay.
Then it gets kind of murky.
There it is. That's what I want to see.
I don't think they have TJ McConnell anymore. They might have traded him.
No. So you named 5 so far. 5 of their...
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more to go. They have a full 13.
Okay. This feels like Charles Barkley playing who he play for.
Big man. Number 42. Scared of the ball.
Big man number. Not Spencer Hawes, right? He's retired?
No.
He's gone. Spencer Hawes from the 76ers. It's not him.
Come on, dude. Dude gets tired after a free throw. Bounces at him. He gets scared.
Tired after a free throw?
He used to play for the Celtics.
Oh, Scalabrini. No, Scalabrini's not in the NBA.
No. All right, I'll stop the pain. It's Horford.
Oh, really? That's how you describe him? You're a horrible clue giver. Oh my god.
No, how would you describe him?
Played for the Hawks, right?
That's what I said. I said he played for the freaking Celtics, the more recent team.
Oh, I don't even remember that. I forgot that part of his career. So, good job.
I'm giving you more.
You were a better clue giver than I anticipated. I'm just a bad guesser. My short-term memory is clearly not with me today.
And then you got Shake Milton, Furkan Korkmaz.
Oh yeah, Korkmaz. What is it? Is it Furkaz or Korkmaz? I forget what it is.
Furka Korkmaz.
There you go. I like it.
That boy put up 21 points today.
Well, good for him. Somebody has to score on that team because Ben Simmons can't shoot. Even if he was playing, he couldn't shoot. But, I could care less about the 76ers 13th and 14th players on the roster. I'm totally cool on that one. But I will say, I think don't count out Miami, Celtics, or Raptors. Even though the Bucks are the favorite, I understand why. I have seen too many playoff series where Giannis gets thwarted by an Al Horford or by some kind of a zone defense where they really stack the paint and prevent him from penetrating inside. And as much as we both show our veneration for Chris Middleton, we both know that he can't do it by himself, especially not against a playoff defense. So, for that reason alone, I hold some reservations about the Bucks making it out, but it will be interesting. Probably the Bucks this year have the best chance to do it. There is no Kawhi Leonard in the East. Celtics are kind of, they're still good, but they're not, amazing. Miami is interesting with Jimmy Butler. He can definitely win a few games. Bam Adebayo playing well too.
And you got the fucking killer threes from one of those two guys' names. I forget him. You know what I'm talking about, right? Robinson and
Duncan Robinson.
Yeah,
that's
Duncan
right.
and Hero.
Tyler Hero. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. A part of me
and
wanted
you
to-
can't
yeah.
forget, they got Iggy. So they got that playoff experience in that bench.
Hey, has Iggy played a game yet?
Yep. He played today. And you want to guess his
nice.
stat line?
2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 steal.
Close. 15 minutes, 1 rebound.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Man, I mean, I know better than to call Iggy a bum, but golly, even Lonzo does better than that. Golly.
He's there for the veteran experience. It's Pat Riley bringing on someone that I assume believes that his team will make a relatively deep playoff run. So it may be a teaching opportunity for his young kids.
You know, here's an interesting thing. We talk so much crap about the Eastern Conference, but the fact of the matter is, when the playoffs get into the, let's say, second round, it's going to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really good.
What do you mean? I think it's already great as is, man. Starting tomorrow, like now it matters. Or it matters again, but... Because you and I are going to be watching that. Well, I'll be watching it. You'll probably be looking at the highlights and things of that sort.
Oh, no. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like for the Western Conference, I agree with you for sure because of the playing tournament.
I get you mean in totality. Like it's not a sure thing.
Well, I'm talking about the East itself. I think the East will be rather interesting come second round because the first round I'm looking at it. If it holds right now, it's like what Bucks versus Magic. Raptors
no, Bucks will
versus
take
Nets.
that because Magic lost some people already. So
Yeah.
they're out.
Yeah.
Raptors Nets. I think the Raptors are
Slam dunk easily. Celtics,
Ooh.
76ers. That may be the most interesting one.
Yeah, it'll depend on health.
Yeah. And dude, imagine if it is Miami versus Indiana. I don't know if you know, but apparently TJ Warren and Jimmy Butler have some beef. And Warren didn't do very well last game. He was held to 12 points
Sure.
for the whole game. As a matter of fact, in the first half, he scored 12. In the rest of the game, Jimmy Butler locked him down, shut him out of the game. And it would be interesting to see if that rivalry continues throughout the playoffs. So if the standings do end up like this, which it looks like it will, we will see that tasty matchup, Heat versus Pacers for a 7 game.
Even in the first round, there's excitement in the East.
Only 2 matchups tops, but even then, I'm not really looking forward to watching them. And I know that's blasphemous to say. We talk about NBA quite often, but I'm more concerned about the West primarily. Like to see the Lakers in the playoffs again, even though you know how I feel about this Lakers team. I may not feel as strongly as I did with past, compared to past Lakers teams, but still they are the Lakers and they are in the playoffs after what? Like 7-8 years. So it's special. It is truly special. I'd like to see how, OKC goes up against the Rockets. Russell Westbrook versus his former team going up against Aquaman. How that will turn out.
I wonder how many times he's going to get kicked in the nuts this postseason.
I know. Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Someone's going to have to step up.
And, the team, honestly, dude, the team that scares me the most here is actually Denver. Denver terrifies me because I think they're totally healthy, if I recall correctly.
Yep. And Joker is actually in playing weight now. And
he's in playing weight after so many years.
Dude, and he is so agile for a big man.
Oh, yeah.
He is so slithery as a big man. And his court vision is fucking on par with top tier point guards. It is ridiculous. Like I could probably we could probably make an argument, not this year, but in future years, he may be an MVP candidate.
I think you can make that argument every year, actually, but he'll never win against the more popular names. That's the problem, really. As long as the Lakers are in contention, they don't even have to be first seed. LeBron or AD will get some of that love.
At least be in the conversation, sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah. But, that's kind of the problem, right? Like, you look at a team like Detroit from 2004, and I know I'm taking you way back, 16 years, actually, long time ago. Do you remember who they had? They had Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace, Tayshaun Prince.
The thorn in our side. They were like the new age bad boys, yeah.
That's right. And they didn't have an MVP. Somebody else was MVP that season. but they played so well together as a team, with Billups being the leader. I feel like Jokic, even though he puts up phenomenal numbers for a center, especially with great percentages as well, he's never really going to get the same adoration to be the regular season MVP for two reasons. Number one, name recognition isn't quite there.
Joker.
It may one day be. Joker, sure, but I think people probably think of Heath Ledger before they think of Nikola Jokic.
Okay.
So he'll never have that name recognition, and he's simply not that big of a stat stuffer. He's not a James Harden. James Harden is putting up crazy numbers.
But the thing is, it's like, to take the Shaq argument, does he make his team better?
Yes.
Joker, right? I would argue that Joker makes his team better at a, I guess, better rate or at a higher magnitude than Harden does.
Ooh, let's really think about that one.
No, I would think so. Well, and maybe it is biased towards big men because I got this belly here and I favor the big men. But Harden also has a belly, so it's kind of a weird argument.
Harden's been he's been eating well, huh? He's been eating well recently. Like I saw him on the game, and I couldn't tell if it was just because of his hair. Like he let his hair grow out, and so he looks bigger. But then I noticed his belly's getting a little swole.
He's definitely one of the bigger shooting guards. But
yes, he is.
It's
but it probably helps him.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. It helps him, I think, with the post ups and everything,
and the travels. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Harden, for one, if we go tit for tat, spreading the floor, both of them can do. Harden gets a 1-up because I believe his ISO game is much greater than Joker's beyond the 3-point line. But then everything in the key and just within mid-range even, Joker wins there. So Joker can develop over time.
No, he doesn't, because Harden is one of the best finishers in the NBA too.
Yeah, but that's not like post-up game or ISO. That's more of just driving, finishing.
But you can argue that he does that better than Jokic, so it kind of cancels out your argument about the paint.
Okay,
right?
Yeah. So they cancel out. Who can do more full court passing?
I think Harden doesn't need to.
But okay, just the option. I'm just saying, like, okay, the ability. Because who's a better passer between the two? Come on, I know it's hard for you to admit, but it's Joker.
Are you saying it's Harden for me to admit? It's Harden for me. I don't know.
Who would? Okay, as much like if you were to, it could go either way. It's a flip of the coin. It's a preference of position, I think, when you want to compare these two. But if I had the opportunity to build a team around someone between those
don't
two,
say that. No,
I would pick Joker.
Dude, you're gonna regret that pick.
No, because dude, it's fantastic having Harden. I'm not undermining his game at all. It is amazing. But to make the team better, I think Joker does that better. Harden is, and it's weird how people aren't using this term anymore. It's a fucking ball hog.
He is, yes.
Right? And I haven't heard that term being used probably like for a year or two at least. We'll talk about his travels and his ISO play, but not ball hog anymore. It probably died with Kobe.
Okay, term. well, tell me this though. If you are building a team with Jokic, who would you want to pair him with? Like, who's like the next Robin or the next pseudo star?
A shooter. You hit him with like a Clay. You hit him with a freaking someone that can knock it down.
So pause right there. Isn't Jamal Murray that guy?
Not necessarily. Not yet. He hasn't proven it. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be, maybe blasphemous to say, Michael Porter Jr.
People are really hyped on him.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
why I say
he's been playing well. Yeah,
it's blasphemous. I saw him a little bit today or yesterday. I forget. Days are blending in nowadays. Conditions.
Sure.
2.69. He's looking very stellar. There's some questionable easy layups that he'll have, but the same thing can be said about Zion, where like when they land, you don't feel like those knees are gonna last long if they keep playing like that. Especially in the case with Michael Porter, who's injury prone already.
Sure.
But over time, he may develop into that. that key player. Another one that you could pair him up with, and honestly, it's another blasphemous thing to say, is Ball. Can you imagine 2 of the best stretch big men on one team? You got the unstoppable 3 in Ball.
And you know what's sad? If you combine the weight currently of Jokic to Ball, it still wouldn't add up to Zion Williamson. It still wouldn't add up. Still be short about 50 pounds.
That's Zion naked too. Fuck.
That's dripping wet. That's Zion dripping wet right there.
But something like that.
Yeah.
Just a spot shooter that can knock it down.
Uh-huh.
And Ball's that. He's not the fastest, right? Let's give him that. But, dude, no one's gonna fucking block his shot, because the way that he releases the ball too is ridiculous. It's like from fucking behind the head. Right? Have you seen it? And such a high arc too. It's ridiculous.
He has a unique jumper, if you could call it a jumper. He has a unique jumper.
Fucking doesn't even need a jump, so whatever. He's a shot, you know. Well, it's better. It's better than none other than your boy Zoe. So.
You know, I can't even say that he's gotten better, because if you look at the numbers, he hasn't. He's regressed so much.
Because who do you put with Harden then? Because let's assume you pick Harden to build around your team. Who was your number 2 then?
I think you'd go with you have to go with a big.
You have to go with a big that could feed him the ball.
No, not at all. Not at all. You can go with in my opinion, AD and Harden would win you championships for years.
Ooh, interesting.
Don't you think so? You think so? Because look at it this way. As much as we both appreciate, and I'm careful with my words here, as much as we appreciate LeBron James, we do know he's 35, 36.
Yeah.
And he's on a good day. He's not the scorer that Harden was or is today.
Yeah.
And I think the Lakers' problems would really be rectified if you have a guy like Harden that does everything and scores about 40 a night. And you have AD doing the thing on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree. I think Harden AD would be ridiculous. I'm trying to think of other big men that you would put next to him. I mean, a healthy Cousins.
No, not anymore. No,
that's why I said healthy.
Well, healthy means what? Like you peel back 1 year.
3 year ago Cousins.
Yeah. 3 year ago Cousins. Today. No, because I think personality.
What about
Embiid?
Here. Embiid? No, clashing personalities then.
No. Actually, I consider Embiid to be a superior player to Cousins, even a healthy Cousins. If you peel 3 years back.
Yeah, but Embiid's never healthy.
Well, you take it for what it is. You
squeeze out 2 years for 2 or a possible 3.
You know, prorated, 60, 65 games. It's good enough.
Oh, Jesus.
But beyond that, I think another name that we're overlooking, and it's partly because I don't find him that interesting of a player, Karl Anthony Towns.
No, I think he's
Towns can ball. He can ball, dude.
He's just been unfortunate with his management and team.
That's what I'm saying. If he was paired up with a guy like Harden, I think they could also be competitive for years to come, championship caliber team.
Got it.
So, with Jokic though, the fact that you said specifically a shooter, not a point guard. You didn't say a guy.
No, he doesn't need a point guard. Joker can do it all. He could even shoot the 3. He could play the post. He'll grab you boards, both offensively and defensively, and he knows how to read lanes, so he'll grab you a couple steals every now and then. He's a complete player that's playing as a point guard in a big man's body.
I'm not arguing with you.
No, I get it. And that's why I think, like you tag him up with another big man that's similar to him. I don't know. Well, either way, I think we've beaten this subject so much.
We certainly have. Now, I think.
And I'm right. You're wrong. Let's just we'll conclude on that with that. Yeah.
That's right. And sometimes we may disagree. We may have these debates, and they may unfold in the public spotlight, just like the Democratic primaries. If you remember. Yeah. If you remember, they had all these candidates on the stage, and 2 of the most prominent ones one of which is the leader of the Democratic Party right now, Joe Biden. He had his own battles with none other than Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris mentioned a lot of things in those debates, brought up some skeletons in the closet for old Joe,
Sleepy Joe.
including for Sleepy Joe, I think a new nickname that's been floating around, Slow Joe. I kind of like the Slow Joe better. It's more appropriate. Quite frankly, I never understood why the Sleepy Joe caught on, because he was never sleepy to me. When you look at Joe Biden, does he come off as a sleepy man? Not really, right? Like,
Depends.
it depends.
Just look at him when he's talking. Sometimes you can't tell if he's like his eyes are open or not, man. It's just,
No, not really. Not really. I think that's a stretch, fam. I think that's not one of Trump's best nicknames. So I give him a F for that one. But so, back in the day, it was pretty apparent that Kamala was going at Biden, and we thought, you know what, this kind of a working relationship could never foster, right? It would never happen. But as the months went by, as the tension softened, as the conflicts eased away, Biden started to consider Kamala, along with a host of other people, for the potential VP position. And it was quite a laundry list of names. Susan Rice was on there. I don't know if she's related to Condoleezza Rice. Yes. She may be.
Somehow Boris Johnson was on there.
Somehow Boris Johnson's always on some list, whether it's for a DUI or whatever it may be. He's on a list. He's on a list somewhere. You know how like pedophiles when they
oh Jesus, you don't.
You know what I mean? He's on a list. But in any case, Biden basically said he was going to pick a female candidate, and that really narrowed down his list from like 30 to 20. And so there was a lot of different options he was going through, and finally, just the other day, he makes the announcement that he has chosen none other than Kamala Harris, Senator Kamala Harris from California. Actually, not Senator Kamala Harris from California. She was the Attorney General from California.
No, she's a senator.
She's a senator for a different state, though, right? Or is she senator of California?
California.
Is she?
California.
Oh, wow. Great. I was thinking of like Dianne Feinstein and Barbara Boxer.
We got a lot. We have a very large population.
Oh, okay. Maybe I was confusing the representatives with the two senators. Maybe that's what it was. But in any case, Kamala Harris, she is the VP choice, and there's mixed reaction to it. Some people are thinking, well, this doesn't really make sense, especially after everything she said during the debates.
Sure.
How would this work out? Other people are saying, well, she is strong where Biden is weak. And that's an interesting way to put it. And you can say that, sure, maybe Vice President should be compensating for whatever perceived deficiencies the main candidate has. I actually think this is probably one of the better options. And this may sound controversial, but I think Kamala Harris is a very capable woman, just from the way that she handled herself on the debates, from the interviews I've seen of her. She is very good at being a public figure. She knows how to handle the media. She knows how to handle conflict and confrontation. Being I think a prosecuting attorney as she was, this is her life. Like, she knows how to talk. She knows how to really handle herself in any given situation, regardless of what the topic is. Of course, she's not perfect. No candidate is. She does have some things to talk about regarding putting a lot of black men in jail when they shouldn't have been. She gave some questionable interviews at the Breakfast Club, and people don't know whose side she's really on. Is she really going to help the African American population in America? People have their doubts, but I'm optimistic that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris can make a run at it. I don't know if they're going to win, to be honest with you. I think the deck is still stacked against them. Even though the polls may be showing different things, it seems to me like it may be a Trump administration again come November 3rd. But let me ask you, Don, what is your feeling about Kamala Harris in general? And do you think this helps Biden with his chances of getting into that Oval Office?
Got it. As a disclaimer, I have not done any research on these guys, and nor am I following anything political right now. So it's strictly gut feeling, as is 99% of my analyses.
Sure.
Let me take a little sip here. Let's get in the mood. Yeah. I think it's awkward that Biden would, hit the gate running, saying, hey, I'm going to pick a female VP. What was that? when he was what's the term used when the nominee or main nominee they picked for the Democratic Party or the DNC.
Sure, the nominee. Sure.
All right, to come out with that statement immediately without even having someone in mind is weird, because now it makes me feel that he's just playing the card of, hey, I want to get a female in there because it's going to appease a certain population and I could win their vote that way.
What's wrong with that, though?
Nothing wrong with that. It's playing the game.
Okay.
Then he goes on to say, oh, I'm going to get a female, or sorry, I don't know if he said it, but it was stated that he wanted someone of color. On top of that, again, another card to play. Now the racial card. So you got the racial card and the gender card.
Sure.
I've heard some good things and some bad things about Miss Harris, where, yeah, she's been a prosecutor, and you brought it up briefly, saying that some of her actions as a prosecutor and as a DA and all that were not always seen as fair, let alone, something to be proud about. It feels like there's a lot of empty promises that Miss Harris will throw out there just to get someone to go her way when she needs it. And that's what worries me. However, if they're trying to buy the votes by just kind of meeting that checklist criteria of who these people should be on the outside without looking into their political ideologies and rhetoric, it might work out. Who knows, man? Dude, what if they put a TikTok together, and Donald Trump does it? I think they would win.
What it really comes down to for me is the swing states, right?
What are they? It's like Ohio.
So
let's look
it seems like it's going to be Arizona, Florida, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, whatever the fuck that means, and then Nevada. Well, I don't want to list everything here, but it seems like there's many swing states up for grabs.
Got it.
And what I wonder is, does it actually help Biden's chances if he picks somebody like Kamala Harris? Like, does Kamala Harris and what she represents appeal more to those voters who were kind of in the middle? Maybe they voted for Trump last time, not too happy with him, looking for some new direction. Maybe. I think it's hard to say. I think it's just really, really hard to say. But I think it's also interesting that, with Kamala Harris being the first Indian, vice presidential
that's your girl
candidate.
now, dude. That's your girl, dude.
And I want to talk about that because initially I wanted to root for her. Before I saw her in the debates, I was like, you know what, Tulsi Gabbard. She's also kind of, I don't know if she's really Indian or she just claims.
Wait, hold on. What is real Indian?
Oh no, but I'm not trying to say that no. I think I gotta correct myself here. I think Tulsi Gabbard is at least a fraction Indian, but I think maybe she kind of grew up as before I say something that I totally regret. Let me just quickly do a Google search here. Tulsi Gabbard.
Oh man, come on! You just gotta say it out loud.
Because okay. Her mother was born in Indiana, grew up in Michigan. Father was born in American Samoa and lived in Hawaii and Florida as a child. Okay, so is she really Indian? Okay, she embraced Hindu faith as a teenager. That's the part that I remember about her. Okay, so her name comes from the Sanskrit word for holy basil, and I just thought, okay, maybe I could get behind Tulsi Gabbard. Right before I actually saw her on the debates, and even during the debates, I thought she kind of stands out to me a little bit. But when I saw Kamala Harris, I didn't really feel that she was representing Indians. You know what I mean? Like, even though she may be half Indian, right? Like her mother's side or something. Like she may be Tamil, if I remember correctly. I always felt that she was firmly representing African Americans, which nothing wrong with that. That is also her identity. And if she chooses to identify that way primarily, totally cool. But because of that distinction, I never really considered her to get my vote automatically. Like, oh, she's Indian, I gotta vote for her. It was more like, oh, she's an interesting candidate. Let me hear more. I gotta hear more about what she has to say. It's not like an easy shoo-in for her. But maybe that's kind of a wrong mentality. Maybe I should be more supportive of Indian candidates, especially ones that make it all the way to becoming the vice presidential nominee. So my personal feelings are, I think I need to learn more about Kamala Harris before I make judgment. Just from what I've seen of her before, all I know is she's very capable. She's a strong, fighter in the debate arena. She's a strong litigator, and she has a lot of experience in the criminal justice system. And I think when it comes to debates with Mike Pence and any kind of interview setting, she will thrive. I have no doubt about that.
They do have those, right? Where vice presidents kind of duke it out debate-wise.
Yeah, and I've never really cared for that before, but this year I want to see. Like, I'm actually very curious. And I know you're not super well informed with politics and everything, but at the very least, when these debates do start, like Trump versus Biden, Kamala Harris versus Mike Pence, I think it'd be very entertaining to check it out and to actually get our opinions on it.
Probably do a live stream of it.
If it works out, if the day works out, then for sure we should do that, because these are kind of unique. I don't think too many people pay attention to them, but when you do watch it, it's a hell of a verbal jousting. They do go back and forth, and it's not exactly a UFC fist fight, but it can get up there, in terms of
the battle of wits.
It's a battle of wits, battle of delivery, right? It's all about how convincing you can be to the public, to the audience. What kind of reaction can you get by landing those jabs, by landing those verbal jabs?
So it's like freestyling on the stage.
Freestyle on the stage, but it's a type of freestyle where everything's very well rehearsed. It's they have a lot of canned lines and mission statements that they have to reiterate over and over again, like true politicians. But so yeah, I think Don and I kind of summed it up well with Kamala Harris. It's a mixed bag of sorts. She has positive traits for sure. Oh, go ahead.
So she hasn't earned your vote? Come on, man. Really?
Well,
are you voting? You're voting for your boy Pence and Trump?
No. First of all, it's not really about her earning my vote. It's more about me seeing how they fit together as a team. I'm not voting for Trump either way. Like, I can get that out of the way. I can say that publicly today. Regardless, I'm not voting for Trump. More than likely, it'll be a situation where I don't really like Biden, and maybe I warm up to Kamala Harris, and because of that, I vote for them. Really, I'm voting for the lesser of two evils, if you know what I mean.
I was listening to Ben Shapiro this morning.
And, are you a fan of Ben Shapiro, by the way?
I like his rhetoric. I like his nerdy kind of attitude about things.
Hypothetically, I think this is the problem.
And the way that he speaks, like how he's always cracked out, it's entertaining to me.
Sure.
But he was saying Kamala Harris is basically almost like the presidential incumbent because they don't see a Sleepy Joe lasting. so like whoever's the vice president, like he was making a joke where Kamala Harris is like, come on, just last till January, Joe. Last till January, Joe. Come on, we got this. Just last. And then she'll become president by default. Due to unseen circumstances. Unforeseen circumstances.
I will say this. I was looking at some of the news reports about Kamala Harris's announcement, and the one thing that stood out to me, I can actually imagine her as the president. You know what I mean? Like, just like looking at her,
honestly,
hearing her talk. Yeah.
After Trump, you could imagine anybody that's been in politics as president. If someone out of politics can do it, not that this is like the first time ever that has happened, right? With Ronald Reagan before being one of those kind of cases.
Sure.
At least for our generation, in the immediate future, I'm not surprised. Like,
yeah,
I'm not surprised if Kanye for 2024 is going to come out and be like, "Yep, all right, we're ready finally. We planned it out this time."
I like how we give everyone a nerdy voice now.
All right, guys, we're ready. We're all Ben Shapiro.
And Kanye has been doing his own thing with the whole birthday party, but did you know that he kind of revealed almost indirectly that he has been supporting Trump all along, and he has been siphoning votes away from Biden, or at least that's the intention. I draw you to an article by none other than the good old buddy of ours, Randall Lane from Forbes Business.
Good guy.
Good guy. He wrote this article on August 6th, not too long ago, titled Kanye West indicates that his spoiler campaign is indeed designed to hurt Biden. And, he just kind of goes into talking about how he's had conversations with Betsy DeVoe about the post-COVID curriculum. Maybe that's one of Dee's girls, not one of mine.
You know what, man? You gotta get them where you can.
That is true. As Kenny Rogers says, you gotta know when to hold them, gotta know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to cry. You better count your money when you're sitting at the table. And of course, Don can finish off that bar after he takes another sip of this beer and feverishly looks up the genius lyrics for that track. But in any case, so we all kind of knew with Kanye West throwing his hat into the ring, all he would really be accomplishing is taking away some votes from Biden. And although in the grander scheme of things, this would be irrelevant, some of the swing states may be pretty close. And so as a spoiler, as a third party that's kind of taking away votes from Biden, that might be enough to get Trump office. That might be enough to get Trump back into the office again. And not only that, but apparently he's been having these private meetings with people that work directly for Trump, including none other than Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. I don't know exactly what the meeting was about, but apparently this happened, and there was another article about it, talking about, Jared Kushner coming out to Colorado to meet with Kanye, maybe giving him tips, maybe advocating for his birthday party campaign, directing him, finding the people necessary to put him on the ballot, whatever it may be. And my question to you, Don, would be, does that disappoint you? Does it disappoint you to know that Kanye is unabashedly supporting Trump again and taking away votes from Biden? It doesn't disappoint you?
No. He's basically playing it right. He's like, hey, bro, I was just messing with you, right? I was just messing by doing all that kind of stuff, right? That's what he was doing. I got some businesses in Colorado lined up. Please make sure that, they survive. I was just messing with you. That's all he's doing. He's protecting himself.
You might be right. I think with Kanye, ever since I learned more about his, the bipolar disorder, and how people other than Kanye, how they deal with bipolar disorder and how difficult it can be, I started to look at him a little differently. Before, I used to find most things he did just completely entertaining. Like, oh yeah, let's see what he's tweeting. Let's see what he said today. But it started to become kind of sad. And especially when he, was spilling beans about his own family, about his daughter, about abortions and whatnot, it became a little all too much. And with this campaign as well for presidency, I never knew how seriously to take it. Rather, we did a couple of podcast episodes about it, which were very popular, by the way. And again, we're talking about him today, so I hope we do get more views. But with Kanye, he's going to keep doing his own thing, for better or for worse. And hopefully he finds the help he needs, and he mends fences with some people that maybe have taken a step out of his life. As a matter of fact, I know I shouldn't be talking about Kanye's Twitter for too long, but he recently talked about Jay-Z on Twitter, and I thought that was really interesting.
What did he say?
He posted, I think, a picture. I gotta scroll through and find it, because Kanye posts a lot of craps from time to time. It's like pictures of his fashion and whatnot. Okay, so he retweeted something from Team Kanye Daily, basically the Otis MTV VMA 2011 performance with Kanye and Jay-Z, which was really good. It had the fire in the background, and Jay-Z and Kanye were both on point. And then the following tweet was directly from him. He says, "Miss my bro, real talk." And it's just a snapshot of the video performance. And, it got a lot of retweets, got a lot of likes. And I wonder if there's anything to that, because he does this from time to time. I feel like he has these moments where he misses Jay, where he thinks back on their entire career, right? Because Kanye was making beats for Jay for a long time. They were collaborating for a long time. And then for the past few years or so, it's been nothing. It's been like almost radio silence. And do you think maybe with all the crazy things that could go on in COVID-19 era, and sometimes good things happen to good people as well in 2020, as we know. But do you think Kanye would eventually find his way back into the good graces of Jay-Z and unleash Watch the Throne Part 2?
I hope so. It's a fucking badass album. I wonder, though, if their relationship has been tarnished to the point where it's unsalvageable. I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I don't know them personally.
Well, and time changes
you know.
people, right? I don't know if... I mean, I'd assume Jay is working on some new stuff right now. He hasn't released anything new lately, so... Hell, what if they're working on it right now?
I don't know. I think Kanye is the type of person that would leak everything himself. Like he could not contain himself when he started working with Dr. Dre on Jesus is King Part 2. Because that's what he's working on now, apparently. There's going to be another album. Actually, there's a couple of albums that Kanye is working on. Donda with Child, I think, is called is the name of his latest album that was supposed to drop a couple weeks back, but he postponed it indefinitely, like he does with all of his other albums. But prior to that, he was working with Dr. Dre in the studio, basically doing another version of Jesus is King, mixed by Dre, and maybe incorporating more verses from other rappers, whoever it may be. So I know Kanye's been busy. He's working on music. I don't know if Jay-Z really needs to work on music. As much as we adore his music and look forward to it, it doesn't seem like there's a strong anticipation for his records, right? It's like if he does drop, then great. His fans will listen. It'll be great. But nobody's really checking for Jay right now. Or maybe you are. Have you been looking out for some new Jay-Z?
Nope. No.
I mean, it's simple.
No.
It's simple.
Hey, you want to know what I have been looking out for, though, man? I've been looking out for our latest news segment on how we are going to become more educated and try to grow together with our amazing listeners, all hundreds and thousands of you. What we are going to be doing for this new segment is for every podcast on a Wednesday night, standard one, we're going to be taking a deeper dive into, I'd say, respectable texts that we all feel we should be reading one day. And for this particular case, and at least for I foresee the next year, most likely.
He's not kidding. He's not kidding, and we'll explain why later. But he's not kidding.
We're gonna be looking into Sun Tzu. Is that how you say his last name? Sun Tzu.
Sun Tzu.
Sun Tzu's The Art of War. Specifically, we're gonna be looking into the Anthony Cummings edition of it, where it's called The Ultimate Art of War, a step-by-step illustrated guide to Sun Tzu's teachings. I think it was published fairly recently, actually, too. Let me take a quick gander in here.
Yeah, 2019. 2019.
2019. Look at that. Check that out. The reason is, it's a relatively short book. We decided on this edition because there's multiple translations of it. It is an old text that we could speak to more once we read a little more background about it.
Yes.
But we decided this particular text iteration of it had multiple lessons of it, and we decided one podcast, or rather, on every podcast, we'd end on a different lesson. So, Arjun, do you mind? Do you want to be the reader? You could be Mr. Rogers tonight.
I will love to be Mr. Rogers, or actually, I would love to be LeVar Burton tonight.
Oh,
like
are you gonna put the Star Trek glasses on?
No, I think I read better without them.
Okay.
So here we go. Lesson 1. Think carefully before going to war. War decides the future of entire nations and peoples. On war may hang their livelihoods and even their survival. The way of the military commander is to bring about victory without incurring high levels of casualty or major loss of wealth. The state must be certain it can afford a war and see it through to the end. It must also consider whether the war is just. Excellent military leaders dedicate their lives to the study of war and its tactics. And here's a war tip for our boys and girls in the audience, in case you do go into war anytime soon. Approach the study of war as a profession.
Mm.
Become an expert in all its elements, and never go to war without considering all things from beginning to end.
Ooh, I think that hits home for us, man.
Mm,
Let me dive deep into it.
sure.
I think it would be wise if we consider all the things from beginning to end instead of just going in blindly as we normally do swinging. I think it would do justice, especially once we enter more mainstream platforms, to have a little more of a I guess kind of true agenda that's actually well vetted and not just talking points. But I digress. We do not have time for such things. I don't think we could afford that. Nor do we think we should sacrifice our other wealth or our time, because time is money. We don't have, we don't want to jeopardize that loss of wealth that may be there. But it's a deep one. This lesson one, it's getting to me already, man.
It is a great lesson to start off with. I couldn't help but think about my recent failures in Civilization 6 while reading this particular verse.
You should catch everybody up on the current status of where we're at.
Yeah. So, Don got me into this game called Civilization 6, where you essentially build up your own civilization starting from 4000 BC or something, and you go all the way to the 2000 AD. And along the way, you go through different eras. You build your technology, you build troops, and you either conquer lands or you win by a science victory, diplomacy, whatever it is. It's just a different way of winning. So we were playing this game, probably started about a month ago, if not longer, and Don chose China. It was random. Okay, Don randomly chose China. I deliberately chose Queen Victoria.
Yeah, as you would
for the UK, and it was a struggle at first. I think we were both facing barbarians. I tried to keep my settlements very close knit, and I only built 3 of them, while Don kept spreading out, and I was making fun of him. I was ridiculing him for having so many minor little settlements here and there with 1 citizen each. But as time went on, Don progressed very quickly, far more quickly than I did through the game. Even though we were going on the same timeline, it just seemed like he was always 2 eras ahead of me. He was already building planes while I'm building musketeers and just swordmen and whatnot. And I decided to just say one day, a couple of sessions ago, I thought, you know what? I'm sick of Bapu. Bapu, for those that don't know, is kind of the nickname for Gandhi. It's like his household name. In a lot of Hindu culture, Indian culture, you have an official name. His name is Mahatma Gandhi, right? But then you also have a pet name or a childhood name that your parents call you and your relatives and your friends call you from time to time. So Bapu was getting on my nerves because I knew it was only a matter of time, Don. It was only a matter of time before Bapu would harness the power of nuclear energy and use that against me.
True.
I thought, you know what? I'm not going to wait until the information era. I'm not going to wait until the tech era. I'm going to start in the Stone Age. I'm just going to go ahead and declare war, encroach upon his lands, and pillage as much as I can. And at first it was pretty cool. I was pillaging away. But then I noticed from a distance, while sitting on top of my horses, a giant elephant come into the view. This elephant was massive, and it had mounted soldiers riding on top of it. And I thought, what is this madness? I mean, did it escape from a zoo? What is this? But little did I know that these elephants were very, very powerful, and they trampled all over my horses, all over my knights, and it became a mess. I had to retreat. Every time I would build a few troops, not only did I plan this horribly, and clearly I needed to read The Art of War before doing this, but I did not think ahead. I was only thinking of the current time. I was thinking of satiating my greed, my hunger, my bloodlust, and I was attacking anything I could see in sight. But it was a horrible idea because I was quickly overwhelmed. I had to send my troops back to recover, and just to send more troops forward, it would take me 10 to 11 turns. I was so far away. India, led by Bapu Gandhi, was so far away from where I was, down in the south of the map. It wasn't working out at all.
Yeah, and you know
so,
where he was? Do you know where he was?
He was close to you.
Right on the outskirts of one of my cities.
Yeah.
And as allies, once Arjun decided to, or rather, the A decided to retreat at points, Bapu and his buddy Peter decided, hey, you know what? The D is allies with the A. Let's go ahead and invade him.
Yeah, and invade he did. He did. But in the most recent session, as Don was alluding to, Don really turned the tables. He turned the tide of war into our favor, because every time I would scroll up to his region of conflict, he would be getting more and more cities from Bapu. He'd be dominating. And now I think the plan is he's slowly encircling Bapu's capital. And with time, the plan is we're eventually, I'm going to help eventually. Don't worry about that. I'm eventually going to come through. But he's going to encircle, the capital with all the troops, with the catapults, the ballistas, whatever he has. And he's going to wipe out Gandhi from the face of the earth. So one day we will see the culmination of his efforts.
That is the goal.
And maybe I'll join in. Maybe I'll pop in there.
I think so.
Do the final.
You have the ships coming along. You have the ships coming along in our landlocked world.
Yeah, that's also the problem. Queen Victoria's specialties all have to do with ships, because obviously, Great Britain, the British Empire, they colonized the world by sailing over there. But you can't really do much from ships when everything's inland, right? Like India's inside, Russia's inside. You kind of have to get off your ship and do stuff. But we'll see. I think as the game goes on, and hopefully we're nearing a close, because golly, this has been going on for what feels like months, Don. It just doesn't end. It doesn't end.
As with the art of war, some things are timeless.
True. So again, the first lesson is to always think carefully before going to war. It's something that
know your shit before you get yourself into deep shit.
Yeah. It's always plan from beginning to end. Don't just think about the beginning and how joyous pillaging a road can be.
Yes, starting a war and then realizing, oh well, they're right next to me. Okay, thanks, Arjun. Thanks, A.
Yeah. So clearly I need to read that lesson a few more times to really indoctrinate.
I think so.
But with that, I will have to say this was a interesting episode of the SoCal DNA podcast. We did cover some NBA and congratulations to Don. NBA. And early we covered like 80% NBA on this one, but congratulations to Don for picking the Blazers. I'm gonna just say he's won already. We'll find out the official
I think
results.
I'm getting the payout this year or this.
I think so. Yeah. And Don, you've been very good at these bets. The last one, the UFC one, which I didn't even watch, and I didn't even know who was fighting, and I let you pick everything. You cleaned house. You did fantastic.
I think I had like one loss, and then one questionable win.
Right.
But I take them all. I take them all. I've studied the art of war.
There you go.
I know what I'm getting into.
You did. I clearly did not. I just throw money away now like a fool. But we will, share future lessons from the art of war.
Yes.
And we will probably have more insight and more commentary about the history of this book, because I do want to read through the introduction and some of the preface that's included by Anthony Cummins, just to get a better idea of who Sun Tzu was. But until next time, guys, we will catch you on the flippity flip. You guys take care.
Peace.